Hey everyone, this is Cholera. I am with SC2GG Rise once again, and once again we are staring into the dreamy eyes of Bisu. Kim Tae-young, of course, the winner of the last MSL. There is our fangirl, our many fangirls, live watching, screaming. And here we're going to be seeing Bisu fight for his tournament life against Magma, the pajama hero. I gotta say, I don't care if Savior beat Bisu in the game. First game, I think Bisu is going to tear apart Magma and then tear apart Zero. And if he doesn't, I will be absolutely shocked. Literally, my head will explode if one of these two manages to stop him.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that Bisu doesn't just beat him, but he, like, toys with him, plays with him a little bit, destroys him over and over and over, lets him rebuild his whole army, and then destroys him again, and, you know, really just gives us an intense Bisu vengeance hatred game. And the Pajama Warrior, I don't know if he's going to be able to deal with it, because it is Bisu who is particularly good at PvZ. So although he managed to lose to Savior, I can only expect that he will not let any mistakes slow him down again. And it looks like we're going to be having this match on Byzantium II. So we've seen some PvZs in the past. What are your predictions, Cholera? I almost called you Bull Trap. Sorry.
It's all good, man. I mean, I think this is definitely still a Protoss favorite map. Byzantium 1 was a little bit worse in that it was very, very Protoss favorite. I don't think any Zergs won other than Savior once on that map. But, you know, Bisu is so much of a favorite. And Magma, actually, I was just thinking, what would Bisu actually have against Magma when you were talking about this? But I do remember Magma was the one who, during the MSL group selection phase, called all the top Protosses acorns. That is right.
Yeah.
He came up with calling Storic the King Acorn, actually. So, and he called Bisu an acorn. He just went down the list of good Protosses and was like, you're an acorn, you're an acorn, you're an acorn, you're an acorn. And I'm sure he called Bisu an acorn, too. Of all things, why a freaking acorn? I have no idea.
What type of insult is that?
I think if he thinks he's like a squirrel or something, Bisu is gonna be one killer acorn. This acorn's gonna get up and just fall on his head and destroy him. I don't even know how to make an acorn joke. That's the best I could do. But basically, Bisu is gonna face stomp him. Is what I was trying to say.
I think you're right. I gotta say, I have had an acorn drop on my head once when I was at Stony Brook, actually, and it was one of the most painful things in my life. So really, I can only imagine that Bisu is gonna skull crack Magma as an acorn, and Magma, I don't know if he'll be able to do anything to defend against it, except maybe wear a helmet, which maybe he does out when he's out. I don't know, but that's his own business. Anyway. Bisu is already in Magma's base, harassing, scouting very early, doing what he does best with his probe, and that is disrupt the other player's mining. And it looks like he's going to get that forge down right away, and probably a couple of cannons, because this is not a 12-hatch build as we come to expect usually from Zerg players. So Magma looks to be trying to put the pressure on very early. Maybe he'll be going for a run-by. I'm not sure. It looks like he is going to get 6 lings out in very short order. It seems like he's already collected his 100 gas and is probably well on his way to getting speed upgrades. And wow, Bisu actually being ballsy and putting down that Nexus before the cannons. I'm surprised. I mean, really, I guess he could probably get away with it, but this is going to be close, man. This is like a race. It is way too close, and looks like Bisu probably going to try to delay as much as he can, but no, it looks like, I don't know, man, it's going to be real close. I think that
he's
Magma
going for the probe.
May have it timed out. Yeah, so Bisu probably going to have enough time to deal with this, and Magma not going to be able to capitalize on that 9 pool like I thought he was going to.
You know, earlier today I had a big debate with someone on IRC over this, and I've been saying it's a bad idea for Protosses to do this when they see a 9-pool speed to go for cannons first. I'm sorry, for Nexus first, and then for cannons. Either going for cannon, Nexus cannon, or Nexus cannon, cannon. I think both are dangerous, and we've seen two lesser Protosses, just entirely fail and lose, burn and crash and burn, using that. Su did, and then Best God did. Both of them messed up. Well, not messed up. They purposely, you know, decided not to get cannons before Nexus, and they both lost. Bisu also did that against Effort. I actually don't know if you remember from our cast, but Bisu went
Oh,
Cannon,
yeah.
Nexus, Cannon. Effort snuck 3 Zerglings through and did a tremendous amount of damage to Bisu. In fact, he took
Yep.
down his first Assimilator while he was morphing in. So I just don't like this build, but he manages to get away with it because, you know, the assumption is the Zerg will see you scouted him and will chase your probe around instead of going for your main. Anyway, Bisu is now very, very, very prepared. He's got 3 cannons and probes blocking, so there's no way that speed upgrade's going to do anything offensive for Magma. Magma, meanwhile, double expanding at the natural and at the 3 o'clock location. He's got a lot of Zerglings on crazy patrol move, just looking for scouting probes, or, you know, basically just scouting probes, the only thing that makes any sense. And he is not going to be able to get anywhere, though. So Bisu, you know, playing it safe, getting the 3rd cannon, I think it's a smart idea. He knows he can win a long game, even if he's just a sliver behind economically. And he's not even behind economically, in fact, because Magma did go for that gas, it slowed him down significantly. So yeah, I think, you know, this could be another macro Zerg game here from Magma, but I think Bisu generally tends to win them against, you know, against most Zergs, even if they go for that modern Zerg build.
Well, and not to mention the fact that really it's a little bit late, if anything. I think that normally it just seems like such a bad use of your economy early on to you're almost committing to a build, and he should have used those links to go and try to do some damage to Bisu, because he probably would have got in. I mean, what is Bisu Scout really going to do to him? He's not going to be able to stop it from scouting even with speedlings for a while. I mean, Bisu is relentless with his scouting. We all know this. And why would you just chase a probe and try to take out the scout probe? I mean, unless you can take it out instantly and then run straight to the base. It's like, what's the point otherwise? Bisu, again, trying to drag in the units of Magma to his base and try to do some damage using his cannons to do the damage. And it looks like both those expansions are up and running at this point for Magma, and he's probably going to go that typical 5-hatch build that we've been seeing a lot more lately. Bisu, in the meantime, getting his Citadel of Adun down. He's got the Corsair about to pop out, and he's probably going to go for his standard, get 12 speed lots out and do some damage to the 2nd expansion of the other player. And I got to say, right now, I think that is probably a good build to do, and it looks like Bisu maybe a little bit in the dark of what's going on right now. He's got another cannon going down. He is very well prepared for any sort of Hydra break, so it looks like he's going to be in good shape. And now we're seeing that 4th hatchery go down, and surely going to see the 5th one in very short order from Magma, as he's doing that build to a T at this point. And Bisu going to scout everything with that Corsair. He's going to see exactly what's going on, and he's going to be able to make his decisions from there on what to go.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, when you go for that speedling first, it definitely does not help you if you either can't get a run by. I mean, I guess he did force Bisu to build one more cannon, so that's one thing. Or if you're not going for anything tricksy. I mean, we didn't see any tricksy play at all from Magma. Basically, he's like, I'm going to deny you from scouting nothing. But whoa! That was actually very good there and a little careless from Bisu. Bisu might be still a little bit reeling from that loss from Savior, because I don't think Bisu usually would have lost that Corsair. I think you would have seen it coming and flown away. But it's only one Corsair, obviously. He's got another one out already. You know, this time he's not going Corsair Reaver, so he doesn't need that many Corsairs. He's going to be going probably just for a ground army here. Templars coming out pretty soon. And, oh, nice Scourge sandwich here. Looks like, only one half of the sandwich. He's got one half, but the other half fell off. And that's going to go down. But, you know, yeah, there's Bisu with a lot of gateways going up. So yeah, my point was, you know, it's a good idea to get those speedlings, especially if you're going to go for something tricky, like maybe a mass Zergling all in, or 4-hatch Hydra Rush, or I don't know, 2-hatch Muta. Certainly, getting speedlings is a good idea. But he went for something completely standard, in which case you can go 9-pull without speed, or you can just go 12-hatch into it. All those things are just as good, and it's you know, makes you get it a lot faster.
I gotta say, man, I'm wondering if Magma went to the locker room and threw his pajamas on, because right now, he's really not doing too bad. I mean, he caught Bisu's Corsair early on. That was
true.
Pretty good play with that Scourge sandwich. Missing some ketchup, of course, but you know what? What are you going to do? Can't win them all. And Bisu, on the other hand, has lost a Corsair. He's invested a lot in cannons at the front, and I'm not so sure that that's going to be the build that Magma decides to go in the end. I don't think he's necessarily going... Oh, and he takes out both the Corsairs, so very nicely done. And there are lurkers out, so we're going to see some lurker play do a little bit of a contain early on to Bisu. which, again, I mean, that's good play by Magma in doing that. And there we see Archons out. I would imagine Robotics Facility. There it is right there. I imagine Robotics Facility going to go down now for Bisu, get some observers out. I'm sure he saw those lurkers as that Corsair disappeared to a couple of Scourge. And Magma is very well prepared against any DT harass at all of his bases. And Bisu now trying to get up his second expansion. And this right here, this is going to be the turning point in the game, at least the first turning point, where if Bisu can get up this second expansion, get it up and running, Magma, we're going to have to see how he responds. If he doesn't respond with the proper, expansions in return and things like that to deal with this, Bisu's obviously going to take a lead. So, and we've seen that happen a lot in PvZ games. So if Bisu can defend that second expansion, get it up fully running, Magma could be in trouble. But at this point, I'd say that they're still fairly even.
Yeah, I think this was a very good move from Bisu to go for this relatively early expansion the moment he saw Lurkers instead of Hydras, because of course Lurkers are much more difficult to attack with. So, the moment he saw Magma take that defensive stance, that was the moment he decided, hey, I'm going to expand then, because you can't attack me with your current amount of forces. And here we're seeing a fast hive here from Magma. Interesting. Fast 3-gas hive. I think that might be... Well, actually, I can't say. I mean, I think it might be premature, though. Generally, we've been seeing the style of Zerg tends to be that they're going for more lair build units. I mean, for example, like you saw in the first game, Bisu versus Savior. Savior went to hive maybe like 20 minutes into the game, and he literally, like, that's when he went to hive. A fast hive here, though. But, ooh, looks like Bisu not going to be able to do any damage. That's the one advantage Lurkers give you, of course, is that Bisu's Archon Zealot army is going to be completely useless against them. And Bisu looks like, though, he has secured his left side base very securely. So, I think Magma... this is a hard map for Zerg. I don't know what to say. I mean, Magma is going to fall behind economically right now, and he's basically hoping that when he gets Hive Tech, he can go for a crackling Lurker Defiler army. And his Defiler play is actually very good, I gotta say, from watching Zerg versus Terrans. He lost to Boxer, but he had really good Defiler play the entire time. Oh! Bisu going in here, and sniping nothing. Nothing. He got nada. And not the good player nada, but he got nothing. And the other thing I was going to say is Hwasun actually lost to Magma in the MST leading up to this, which probably gave Magma a lot of self-confidence, because that's when he started smack talking right after the MST, and now he might regret that if he loses this game, because that was a whole lot of smack talking for so far not a very inspiring performance. But if he beats Bisu, he'll deserve the smack talking, obviously.
Yeah, and if he beats Bisu, he's going to be the one to eliminate him from the MSL, which would be ridiculous. There is the Defiler's Mount, as well as the third expansion. So it looks like he is going to do what he needs to do, which is stay economically ahead. Scourge getting passed over by an observer, and no Overlord in sight to deal with that. And man, I like the little bit of a timing. The timing push that we saw from Magma, and wow, now we're seeing Bisu heading in. It looked like his observer got sniped way early. Storms. Decent, not bad storms at all, and it looks like Bisu actually going to be able to do a lot of damage to Magma's army here, but not enough. Not going to be able to take out the rest of those Lurkers, and there we see a bunch of Lings streaming back to try to help defend this. I'm sure we're going to see Defilers popping out very soon, and I'm curious to see what Magma decides to do at this point. Does he stay with this tech, stay with this build now that the Goons are out, and the Archons and the Templar, or is he going to go to higher tech as soon as that third base gets up and running, something like Ultras?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he almost lost that base. I think he did. Did he lose that base there in that last attack? I'm pretty... No, it did go up. Never mind. I'm sorry. It got stormed hard, but didn't go down. And now he's trying to bring some crackings to the left sides. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a Defiler. If he had a Defiler there, he might have been able to take out all of that stuff. But here comes Bisu now, going right for the right. That is very, very smart there from Bisu. And he needs some good storms to stop these Lurkers from killing his army. Oh! Bisu gets the storms, and they take care of business. Oh, my God. Oh my lord, Bisu just Bisu'd him pretty much. That was just beastly. Yeah, beastly storms there from Bisu, and that Defiler standing there all alone, just a little bit late to the dance, and he's going to do nothing. However, though, Bisu looks like he's going to lose all of his forces here, actually. So actually, it's not going to be that great for Bisu. He did manage to do some damage, but no, his forces live. Wow, he doesn't take down the right side, though, so actually that was a closer battle than I thought it would be. By the way, it was +1/+1 for the Zerg, and I think 0/0 +2 for the Protoss. About even on upgrades at this point. So Bisu might be able to bring more forces. Now, we haven't seen the Swarm yet. There needs to be some Swarms, man. There are the Swarms. Swarms, of course, make the Zerglings so much more effective. Archons can only deal splash damage. Dragoons can't deal damage at all. Zealots, of course, still deal full damage, though.
Yeah, something's got to be mentioned about swarms, though, is you set yourself up for storms on the swarms because you know exactly where the units are going to be hiding out against units such as Dragoons. So what we tend to see is storms covering the swarms, and looks like, wow, very nice swarms there. Taking out his own observer, though, and an Archon. Oh, he's got to be careful. Bisu has to be careful. He is just outside that swarm, morphing that Archon there. I don't know if that's the best place to do it, but it looks like he is going to do it there.
Oh!
And in the meantime, oh my God, massive Plague! He caught a ton of units in that one. And it looks like they should call it Ragu. Well, whatever. It looks like Bisu is going to get his third base up now, though, and he's going to stay ahead economically. And oh, big attack going on here. Good surround, but not enough units by any stretch of the imagination. Another Plague. Very nice Plagues. I like that. It definitely lessens the effect. And there is the Ultralisk Cavern. And I wonder if we're going to see those pop out in the very near future. And if it does, if he starts going Ultra Crackling, it's going to be bad. And a shuttle going by. Oh, but he's going to get caught. He's going to get caught against Scourge. Oh, nicely done by Magma. Bisu not able to execute that storm drop, but great play by both forces and more swarms. Nicely done so far. Let's see if the Ultras come out shortly and storming his observers again. Painful.
Wow. Painful. And what is this? We could be seeing an upset here. I would be shocked. I mean, everyone would be shocked. I mean, if Magma manages to beat the great Bisu. Obviously, Bisu is the MSL champion, and Magma is a relative nobody, but right now, it's looking not bad for him. I mean, Bisu just lost a whole lot of gas in that shuttle. However, the one thing Bisu is very, very good with is shutting down expansions, as he's been doing. And Magma right now is on even bases with Bisu. So even if Bisu, loses one or two of these armies, he's still okay because Magma doesn't have an economic advantage. And we saw that in Bisu versus Effort. That was a long, long game on Medusa. But Effort, it was kind of similar in that Bisu kept just taking down Effort's expansions. Even though Bisu suffered great losses every time he took one down, he still managed to come out at the end because Effort just wasn't able to get that Zerg macro up. We're seeing these two Archons, though, getting pinned in. Nice play there, and a little careless from Bisu. Meanwhile, Bisu expanding at an unlikely location at the lower right, which is very close to Magma. Now Magma going in for a big attack. He's got Ultra Ling and probably some Defilers following, but Bisu has a ridiculous number of High Templar because he has those 3 gas pumping, and right now it's just a huge macro fight. It's also going to be who can control better in the next battle. If Bisu can continue to get these storms out as he's been doing all game, I don't know if Magma can have a chance, even if Magma does have good Defiler control, which I do have to say is his strongest suit of part of his game. And here it goes. Why don't you cast this epic battle as it's about, I don't know, maybe it's going to unfold soon.
It looks like they definitely are positioning for a big battle. Bisu with observers all over the place. Going to see this coming. It looks like he's going to be prepared for this. Probably deflect it. Looks like, no, it looks like Magma is going to go in for it. Swarm going down. A lot of Zealots. A lot of Lurkers. That's going to be hell for those Zealots. They're not going to be able to do much at all. A ton of Swarms going down all over the place. Taking out a lot of the Lurkers. That's going to allow the Zealots to push in. He's catching almost all the Lurkers in those storms down to 1. And he repels it without losing much of anything. So Magma, wow, very ineffective attack.
Wow.
I thought he was going to do a ton of damage there. And now all of a sudden, Bisu is in a great position to do a nice counter. Although we are seeing a lot of eggs morphing, looking to pop out some units. So I'm surprised we haven't seen any Reavers from Bisu. I was thinking that he might do that when he saw the Ultras pop out. But for now, Plague's going on overall all the units of Bisu. But it looks like he is going to stick with that Zealot, Archon, DT, High Templar, and a couple of Dragoons force. And man, if he gets some good storms off, though, he's not going to have much problem at all. Those DTs, of course, playing a role in this. Look at the cannons surrounding that Nexus. That's awesome. And now cannons. At this point, yeah, God cannons. It looks at this point, Bisu is got map control back in his favor, although we're going to see another big battle here, and it looks like Bisu has him outnumbered, but he's got to be careful of the swarms. It doesn't look like he's got any High Templar in the area. He's bringing probes out in a transfer, and they're going to get caught in a melee, and not going to lose too many of them. Good storms over over the swarms, and it looks like Bisu going to come out on top again. And now Magma, I got to say, Magma is in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing Magma has going for him is all this ragu all over Bisu's forces, but no matter how spectacular that Plague looks on an Archon, it only deals 9 damage. Of course, catching the rest of it is good, but if you have as many forces as Bisu does, it is not enough. You know, Defilers are a force multiplier, but if you don't have much of a force, you can't multiply it very much. That's pretty obvious. But see, oh, Bisu, double storm from below. Hello.
I love
it. Yeah, you know, you just gotta love Bisu's play here. And Magma actually has not played poorly. He's acquitted himself much better in this game than he did against Zero, where his game was just boring and it just wasn't, you know, it wasn't like it was gonna be exciting no matter what happened, but he just lost. But now actually, some Archons getting caught out again. So Bisu gonna lose another force, but like I was saying, Bisu is actually. What? No,
sorry,
no
he's got
yet.
DTs in there.
Oh, DTs. I thought you said GG. I heard GG.
No,
I'm
no,
like,
there were
what?
no overlords.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's going to make it tough for any damage to be done from Magma. And now Magma, seeing that base in the bottom right, is going to know that nothing good is coming out of this. And Magma probably knows he's in a lot of trouble. What I meant before, sorry to interrupt you, was the DTs were just whipping away at those Ultras, doing their 40 damage now that they have the full upgrades. I mean, that's just ridiculous damage that they do. And that'll take out any Zerg unit, especially if there's no... oh no, and now Bisu doing his typical sending a Zealot at every base. And we're going to see the first-person view of Bisu as he is multitasking around the map. He's got his DTs out over there, and again, there are no Overlords to fight these off, and he's just going to clean out all those links before they do anything. Magma not even realizing this is happening. Bisu not even paying attention to half the other map, just content to take out all of these units except for an Ultra. Oh, he almost gets the Ultra too, and man, Bisu just doing a fantastic job. And now the first-person view of Magma, and you can see that he's not doing too hot. He's got 110 food count, 113. That is not many compared to what Bisu has, I'm pretty sure, although I missed it before what Bisu had. And now Bisu going in for the counterattack, and it looks like Magma is completely out of position to deal with this. He's going to go for a counterattack of his own, but Bisu going to be way ahead, trading expansion for expansion at this point. And Magma is probably going to lose this game. Storm all over that swarm once again. And Magma probably going to take this out, but I think it's too little, too late.
Yeah, I mean, this is what Magma's been trying to do the entire game. Oh, but look at this. Bisu on the rampage. He's going to take out 2 expansions, I think, while Magma only takes out 1. Usually that's a fair trade, but in this game, Bisu actually has been up expansions, believe it or not, this entire game. Up by 1, I think, previously, so this is ridiculous. Bisu with a large force. Magma finally coming around with his Ultras. Gonna take out this force, I think, with that many Ultras. But no, Bisu with perfect storms here. I don't know who's gonna come out of this. It's gonna be close, though. I think the Ultras might take the field, but it won't matter because, like I said, Bisu has basically confined Magma to 1 mining base on the right side. Now, Bisu isn't doing great economically. He has the same number of bases as Magma once again, but, I mean... You know, I mean, when that happens, the Zerg is behind. You know, what Bisu, what Magma's been needing to do this entire game is do what he did that lower right. He needs to get Swarm and Zerglings right next to the Nexus. He tried to do that right here on this left side base previously. You remember that other attack? He tried to do that, but he just... If he only had, like, 12 lings, left-click the, just... attack move, I mean rather, not attack move, right click the Nexus with the 12 lings, then he would have killed off the Nexus while the rest of the forces were blocking for him. And that's the play he needed to do then, and he didn't. Now Bisu is running short on minerals though, they are showing us that, and that was Bisu's only mining base, whereas Magma is also going to be running very short. Bisu also with late game Corsairs. This is a really smart switch we see very often, well not very often, but we see clever Protoss do this late in the game because they know there's no anti-air left for the Zerg, and this quick switch will allow them to kill a whole lot of Overlords very quickly. So, you know, we might be seeing one more pivotal battle, and that could decide the game.
Yeah, it looks like he managed to get a Plague off on a couple of those Corsairs. And oh, Plague and his own Ultras, they're going to take a lot of damage from that. They will take the full blow. And it looks like Bisu is going to come out ahead. There are no Overlords there. There are DTs under that swarm. And that That's going to take care of all those Ultras, and I bet you anything
Wow.
that Magma is going to be the one to GG at this point. Bisu is going to clean up all of the Overlords out on the map with his Corsairs. He's got critical mass. He's going to be able to deal with any amount of Scourge that come after him, and at this point, I mean, well, before this point, I thought Magma was in trouble, and Bisu definitely was in a little trouble too, but now with the DT Corsair late game, brilliant tech switch. He's going to be able to take care of this without much of an issue at all. That base is going to go down. And Magma, GG's! Wow.
GG. Well, Bisu managing to defeat Magma, not big of a surprise. Now he's going to move on to the final game against Woojin Stars Zero, who has been doing quite well this season, I gotta say. He beat Flash, for example, and beat a whole lot of other players. He's the other good player on Woojin, but is he going to be able to face the great Bisu? Now, the one thing that might be going for Zero is that Bisu's had to play 2 long and exhausting PvZs so far tonight, or today, whenever it was in Korea. So he's had to play 50 minutes of PvZ StarCraft, and he's going to have to play PvZ once again and possibly another long game. Magma looking disappointed. You know, the thing about Magma is, if you're really not that good, you don't go into the scene making fun of the best players in the world by calling them acorns. You just don't do that, because this happens. And who's the guy who got hit in the head by the giant acorn named Bisu now? That would be Magma. So Magma gonna go home to Eastro. Maybe he's good in practice. I don't really care because you know, he lost badly today.
Acorn Skull Crusher takes out Magma, the volcano. And Bisu again moving on to the final match against Zero. We'll see you there. Should be a good game.